Most men think women only want to hear, "You're beautiful." But the truth will shock you. These 5 secret compliments touch her heart in ways looks never could stay till the end. Montfort might just change how she sees you forever. Comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful relationship truths. You see, most men have been conditioned to believe that the best way to compliment a woman is by focusing on her physical beauty. They think that saying, "You look gorgeous," or "You're stunning," is enough to make a woman feel valued. And while yes, every woman enjoys hearing she's beautiful, it's not what truly stays with her. Physical compliments are surface, level. They make her smile for a moment, but they don't touch the part of her that truly craves to be seen. What women secretly desire, what moves them deeply, is emotional validation, the kind that acknowledges her essence, not just her appearance. Think about it. When a man notices the way a woman carries herself through challenges, how she maintains grace under pressure, or how she treats people with kindness even when no one's watching, that strikes something powerful within her. A woman doesn't just want to be admired, she wants to be understood. When you say, "I really respect how calm you stay when things get tough," or "I love how thoughtful you are when you speak," you're speaking directly to her identity, the part of her that often feels overlooked. You're telling her, "I see you, I see the real you," and that to a woman is far more intoxicating than any line about her looks. Because here's the truth. Women are constantly being evaluated on their appearance. Society bombards them with messages that their worth is tied to how they look, how slim they are, how youthful their face appears. So when a man comes along and offers validation that goes beyond that, it feels like relief. It feels rare. She begins to associate that man with peace, the kind that comes from being appreciated for something deeper, something lasting. When a woman feels emotionally validated, she relaxes. Her guard comes down. She feels safe, not in a physical sense, but in a psychological one. You see, emotional safety is the foundation of attraction that lasts. It's the invisible glue that makes her want to open up, to share, to connect. When you compliment her intelligence, her creativity, her emotional strength, you awaken a side of her that's been waiting for acknowledgement. You communicate that you are a man who notices what most men ignore. And this is where most men go wrong. They confuse attraction with validation. They try to attract women by saying what every other man says. "You're so hot. You have a great smile." But attraction without emotional validation is temporary. It fades the moment another man gives her similar attention. Emotional validation, on the other hand, roots itself deep within her. It creates a sense of bonded admiration, a quiet respect that keeps her thinking about you long after the conversation ends. Let's get psychological for a moment. Human beings are wired to seek affirmation of identity. We all want to feel seen and valued for who we believe we are. Women, in particular, because of social expectations, often suppress parts of themselves to fit into certain roles. The caregiver, the achiever, the beauty. So when you identify and appreciate something she's proud of but rarely acknowledged for, you're essentially giving her permission to be her whole self. That's why compliments like, "You have a beautiful way of making people feel comfortable," or "You're incredibly resilient," not everyone could handle what you've handled, have such emotional impact. They touch her on a philosophical level. They affirm her existence in a meaningful way. There's also a subtle power dynamic at play. When a man chooses to compliment a woman on her mind, her energy, her discipline, he's signaling that he's emotionally intelligent. He's operating on a higher frequency, one that separates him from the majority. Women respect men who see beyond appearances because it reflects discernment, a quality of leadership and maturity. She doesn't just think, "He's attracted to me," she thinks. "He understands me," and that, my friend, is the seed of deep emotional attraction. Now, you might ask, but what if she doesn't respond? The truth is, real compliments are given for reaction. They're given from authentic observation. When you notice something real and you express it without agenda, it carries weight. Women can feel the difference between a compliment meant to flatter and one meant to affirm. Authentic compliments resonate because they're rooted in truth, not desire. And when a man speaks truth, gently, confidently, without expectation, it lingers in her mind. She'll replay that moment because it felt pure. So the next time you feel the urge to tell a woman she's beautiful, pause for a moment. Look deeper. What do you admire about her character? Her values? Her energy? Speak to that, because the words that validate her soul will always outshine the words that validate her appearance. When you learn to do this, you become the kind of man every woman remembers, not because of your looks, your charm, or your status, but because of how you made her feel about herself. You made her feel understood. And here's the most powerful truth of all. The men who learn to see women beyond their beauty never have to chase. They naturally attract, because genuine recognition is magnetic. It pulls people in. So remember this. Compliment her looks and she'll smile. Compliment her mind and she'll think. But compliment her soul and she'll never forget you. You know, one of the biggest mistakes men make in communication is assuming that women are impressed by grand gestures or poetic words. But here's the truth. Women aren't moved by how much you say. They're moved by what you notice. It's not the loud compliments that make a woman's heart skip. It's the subtle, deeply personal observations that show you've actually been paying attention. When a man notices the little things about her, things that most people overlook, it sends a silent but powerful message. I see you. And that, to a woman, is magnetic. Most men compliment out of habit, not awareness. They recycle the same phrases they've heard 1,000 times. You look nice. You're so beautiful. That dress suits you. But what separates a man of depth from the average man is specificity. He doesn't just see a woman's appearance. He observes her energy, her choices, her expressions, her tone. He might say, I love how passionate you get when you talk about your work. Or, you have a calming presence. People feel at ease around you. These kinds of compliments don't come from impulse. They come from attention. And that's what women crave most. To be genuine of seen in a world callous balanced. Prat, shallow observation. You see, attention is the purest form of affection. Anyone can tell a woman she's beautiful, but not everyone can say, you have this way of making people feel important when you speak to them. That kind of statement tells her that you're emotionally present, that you're listening between the lines. It's not about the words she says. It's about the meaning behind them, the spark in her eyes, the subtle emotion in her tone. Women are emotional communicators, which means they don't just want to be heard. They want to be understood. So when a man reflects back something real, something she didn't even realize he noticed, it hits her heart in a way that's unforgettable. And it's not just about saying the right thing. It's about timing and authenticity. You can't force genuine observation. It has to flow naturally from genuine interest. When you're present in a conversation, not distracted, not thinking about what you'll say next, you start noticing details others miss. The way she pauses before she answers, the softness in her laughter when she's truly relaxed, the way she avoids eye contact when she's nervous. Every little detail is a window into her inner world, and when you acknowledge it with kindness, not judgment, it builds emotional intimacy instantly. Women are intuitive by nature, and they can feel when a compliment is rehearsed or manipulative. But when it comes from a place of quiet admiration, it becomes unforgettable. A man might think that being observant is a small thing, but psychologically, it's one of the deepest forms of connection. Why? Because observation shows effort. It shows emotional investment. It tells her that she's worth noticing. And that makes her feel valued in a way surface-level flattery never could. There's a philosophical beauty in this, too. Observation requires presence, and presence requires self-control. Most men are so caught up in trying to impress that they forget to perceive. But when a man slows down, listens with intention, and allows himself to be curious about who a woman truly is, her values, her motivations, her subtle moods, he becomes rare, and rarity breeds attraction. It's not that women want perfection. They want to feel emotionally recognized by someone who genuinely cares to understand them. This kind of compliment also taps into something ancient in human psychology, the need for recognition. Since the beginning of time, human beings have sought to be seen and remembered. For a woman, being noticed deeply touches that primal need for connection and belonging. It communicates that her presence matters, that her essence leaves an impression. That's why a man who says, "I love how you light up when you talk about your goals," stays in her mind longer than someone who just says, "You look great tonight." One speaks to her body, the other speaks to her being. And here's where it gets profound. When a man develops the ability to see a woman beyond her appearance, when he notices the light behind her actions, it not only changes how women respond to him, it changes who he becomes. Because true observation requires emotional intelligence. It requires stillness, empathy, curiosity, and humility. Traits that elevate a man's entire presence. A man who notices details doesn't just connect better with women, he connects better with life. He sees beauty in subtleties, meaning in silence, and value in the small things. And that shift, that heightened awareness, makes him more grounded, more magnetic, and more masculine in the truest sense. So if you want to create an instant emotional connection with a woman, don't focus on what's obvious. Focus on what's real. Notice the effort she puts into her passions. Recognize the warmth in her kindness. Acknowledge her thoughts, her values, her growth. Because in the end, women remember how you made them feel seen. That's the difference between attraction and attachment. One fades, the other lingers. Every woman has layers waiting to be discovered, and most men never look beyond the surface. But if you can learn to see with your heart, to notice what others overlook, you'll never have to chase connection. It will naturally find you. Because the truth is simple yet profound. The man who truly observes doesn't just compliment a woman. He awakens something beautiful within her, the desire to be known. There's something deeply powerful about genuine admiration. You see, in a world where most compliments are shallow or transactional, genuine admiration stands out like a beacon. It doesn't come from a place of wanting to impress. It comes from a place of understanding and respect. When that's what women crave the most. When a man expresses admiration for who a woman is, her strength, her growth, her drive in her, that awaken that goes far beyond in her, that goes far beyond attraction. It creates emotional safety. And emotional safety, more than looks, status, or charm, is what makes a woman trust, open up, and truly connect. The truth is, women are not looking for perfection. They're not even looking for constant flattery. What they want is to feel safe enough to be real, to know that the man in front of them sees their imperfections and still chooses to honor the beauty within those flaws. Genuine admiration does exactly that. It says, "I see your struggle, I see your effort, I see your growth, and I respect it." That kind of validation builds a bridge of emotional intimacy that's almost unbreakable. But here's where most men go wrong. They think that admiration means constantly praising a woman or putting her on a pedestal. It doesn't. Real admiration isn't about worship. It's about recognition. It's about acknowledging her journey, her courage, her principles. It's when you say, "I really admire how you handle pressure without losing your kindness," or "I respect how you stay true to yourself, even when it's not easy." Those words carry emotional weight because they affirm something deeper, her identity. And this is where psychological depth comes in. Every human being has two fundamental emotional needs: to be understood and to be appreciated. Women, especially, attach emotional meaning to moments of genuine recognition. When she feels seen, not for her looks, but for her essence, her discipline, her resilience, her compassion, she experiences what psychologists call secure attachment. It's the feeling of emotional safety that allows vulnerability to flourish. And when a woman feels safe, she doesn't just listen. She connects. There's a quiet strength in a man who can express admiration without ego. He doesn't do it to get something in return. He does it because he operates from emotional abundance. He doesn't feel threatened by her strength or her success. He celebrates it. That, right there, is one of the rarest traits in men today. Most men subconsciously compete with women or pull back when they encounter a strong one. But a man who can admire strength instead of fearing it stands out instantly. He becomes a symbol of emotional maturity, and women find that irresistible, not because it flatters them, but because it makes them feel seen without judgment. Philosophically, admiration is one of the purest forms of love because it's selfless. It doesn't demand ownership or validation. It simply acknowledges truth. When you admire a woman genuinely, you're saying, "Your existence adds value to the world." That's not flirtation. That's reverence. It's rare, it's noble, and it builds trust faster than anything else, because a woman will never forget how a man made her feel safe to shine. You see, emotional safety is not about protecting a woman from the world. It's about creating a space where she doesn't have to protect herself from you. It's when your words, tone, and presence tell her, "You can be yourself here." That's what genuine admiration does. It removes the need for defense. It allows her to breathe, to open up, to share. And in that openness lies the foundation of real connection, the kind that's built not on desire, but on depth. When a man learns to express admiration this way, something transformative happens. He also grows. Because the ability to admire others reflects inner confidence. It shows that you're secure enough to celebrate someone else's light without feeling dimmed. You're not intimidated by her brilliance. You're inspired by it. That mindset doesn't just attract women. It attracts respect from everyone around you. And here's the irony. The more genuine your admiration becomes, the more magnetic you become, because authenticity is rare, and people, especially women, can feel when it's real. A man who can say, "I love how you keep learning, how you never settle for average," communicates depth, patience, and integrity. Those are the qualities that separate fleeting attraction from lasting impression. We live in a time where so many interactions are performative. Compliments are rehearsed, emotions are masked, and people pretend to connect. But genuine admiration breaks through all that noise. It's honest, it's intentional, it's human. When you speak to someone's essence, you bypass their defenses and touch their core. That's why the right words, spoken with sincerity, can change everything. So the next time you feel moved by something a woman does, say it. Don't assume she already knows. Tell her, "I really respect how you stayed true to your values," or "I admire how you carry yourself with humility." Those small moments of honesty can have a lasting impact. They remind her that she's not invisible, that her strength and softness are both worthy of recognition. Because at the end of the day, admiration is more than a compliment. It's an act of love. It's how you tell someone, "You matter," without ever needing to say the words directly. So let this stay with you. When you learn to admire without agenda, to appreciate without expectation, and to validate without flattery, you become unforgettable. They may even forget what you did, but they will never forgive how you made them be themselves, had and how you may that can get an affordance it's safe to be themselves.